Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom review. See my title below. Yes, this is on episode 5 of SukaSuka, and honestly, I gotta say this episode definitely was not the strongest episode of the series so far. Like that of course is because of like majority of this episode, the middle part of this episode, it kind of felt like it wasn't even the same like, is this a different series we're watching? It was like a total slice of life thing, and I'm not saying I totally disliked it and I didn't, I want to just skip straight to the end, because I did enjoy it. It was still, really cute, had a lot of cute moments, had a lot of funny moments as well. Like, it definitely made it, like, honestly, before, at least, I was like, Kotori is, like, the #1 girl for me in this show. I mean, they didn't really show as much with Althea and Ren, but I gotta say, Ren stole the whole middle part of this episode for me. Like, I was just enjoying watching her. That moment when she's sitting down on, Willem's, lap and everything. I'm just over here like, does no one notice she's just sitting on his lap? And then of course holding him as well, and her, saying it's for him and everything, but it's, obviously not just for him. But it was super cute, honestly. It was adorable, and just like her characters like her, I always enjoy, because sure, they don't have like as much facial expressions, but when they do, it really does hit you hard. And like just her subtle body language, her tilting her head, or just her saying something throughout the episode, it was just like, yeah, you're definitely, Ren, you're doing a good job at making me enjoy your character a lot more and more and more. And I mean, I've always enjoyed Althea's character. She's just kind of that funny, out there kind of character that's always in everyone's face, a teasing kind of character. So it's crazy, because before it kind of seemed like Kotori was just gonna be all about Kotori, and the other two girls are kind of just like, they're also there as well. But they're doing a good job at making me like those characters more and more, which is scary, honestly, because of the fact that before I thought, if Kotori dies, I'm gonna be super sad. But if the other two girls die, I'll be sad, but not as much. But seeing them delving more and more into the characters, not really like a huge amount, but just enough, honestly, that if any of them died, which is, we know already, can be a possibility. Honestly, that would hit me really hard in the feels, that I honestly would not know how to be able to, just comprehend that happening, obviously. But yeah, that's why, even though it felt like it was just useless, didn't really need to have this whole middle part in, or if anything, shorten it, it still did a good job at kind of, showing off the other characters more, kind of having a little, lightheartedness after how much suspense and tension was from the last episode. And then also, of course, the main part for me that correlates to the story progression and everything, since the rest of it didn't really, it looked like there was any story progression. It looked like it was just like a filler, if anything, But the whole part with, Willem pretty much dragging all those guys, beating them into that alleyway, and then doing his bang, bang, bang thing, where, of course, he was actually, at first I thought it was like, is he a sniper somewhere up on top of the roofs? But it's actually, he was just using coins and flicking them at, like, super speed. And I'm over here like, damn, that's gotta hurt. But seriously, how many coins does he have in his hand at that moment, too? Because there was a bunch of guys, he's just like, bang, 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 bang. But, I mean, he is fast, so I guess he could just shove his hand into his pocket, grab the coin real quick, and then just flick him out. But like, I was not expecting that. But that's not the part that is important. The important part is, of course, later on, where Kotori talks to him and says that he wanted that kind of stuff. He wants to fight. And she, of course, goes on saying that he doesn't need to do that anymore. And of course, it's changed. He's changed, of course, because of the girls. But before, I mean, he kind of just did all these kind of stuff because he wanted to die, honestly. He wanted to be with his loved ones again, all the people that are gone now, since he's literally the only human left alive, and everyone in his lifetime is literally, dead now. And he wanted to die. Of course, now he has a place he can call home because of these girls, and that's why I love the kind of development that they had for Willem in this episode. Sure, could they have, shortened that, if anything? Yes. But overall, I still think it was okay. I think the pacing for this was still okay, in my opinion. And they did a good job at, even though having that lightheartedness, having like this later on in this episode at the very end, having where everything starts to go down, where it starts to get serious. With, of course, a lot of people I also saw in the forum saying that the confession of Kotori kind of felt out of nowhere. Like it just like came literally just no one expected it. But for me, honestly, I would say that it was expected. I mean, we've already known and we've seen several times already that Kotori does have feelings for him. So for me, and you know, it's also vice versa for Willem having some type of feelings for Kotori as well. So for me, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a good execution and everything, and I did enjoy the way they led up to it with, of course, you know, him saying the kind of stuff about how things changed for him, how before he wanted to die, and how, you know, her telling him he doesn't have to fight anymore, and transitioning to, you know, why does, you know, he says, of course, you know, I'm surprised that you were paying attention to me and like that and everything, that she would keep an eye on him. And then, of course, executing it greatly that she comes walking by, well, that's because I love you, you know? I honestly thought it was really well done. And that scene where she walks by him, I was like, oh, I love love confessions, and I love that love confession. Hopefully, of course, obviously, that's not like a huge death flag. And, you know, as we saw at the very end when he does end up walking, you know, some military officer guy comes along saying that he should go with him. And then, of course, you know, the whole thing where he says some name, I'm not too sure what this name is, who it is, and everything, but it has some importance that obviously Willem could not walk away from. And then, of course, you know, having the transition from the, you know, the fighting scene to the love confession to this scene was honestly, in my opinion, what made the episode. Like, I really, really did enjoy the ending part of the episode. The beginning part was cool too, you know, of course, with the whole seeing why, the reasoning why they ended up failing. I thought at first it was just because, you know, she didn't want to die, so that affected her fighting on the field, but it was actually just because a new monster ended up being created there, summoned there, and they didn't want to end up fighting it, you know. But of course, the ending part is what, like I said, really got me. And that part where he's like, he's gonna stay and everything, and she's crying, and he's then saying, you know, don't leave me and everything you promised, and all this kind of stuff, and he ends up having to promise that he will return. And you have this moment where she changes to his, I guess, childhood friend back when he was leaving, and promised that he would be back as well. And you could see the kind of connections between the both of them, and see why this is affecting both him and her a lot, and why this decision for him to stay means that this person, this name, whatever it is actually like a huge importance for him to end up saying that he's, you know, not just leaving with them, you know. Because if it was a name that didn't really matter, or even mattered just like sort of, you know, importance, but not a real importance, then he would have just left with them. You know that for a fact, because of how things have changed for him, and how he has, you know, now has a home, and he wants to be with those girls and everything, you know. But this name, I'm not too sure what it is, has some huge importance, maybe to his past. I have no idea, but that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to seeing in the next episode. And the last thing that I have to talk about that was really important in this episode was the thing that happened to Kotori when she ends up about to fight the that new monster, and all of a sudden, creepy ass little kid voice and like red kind of, you know, blood kind of scene going on. And of course this happens later on when she sees the clowns, with the clowns' heads getting cut off and everything too. And I'm just like, holy shit, honestly, I did not expect that at all. It was super creepy in my opinion. And the beginning part, it wasn't as bad, but when you go from lightheartedness of what was going on to Kotori seeing that and the heads cut off and the, you know, little kid speaking, that part I was like, oh, okay, they really just completely changed the way I was feeling about the episode right there. And then of course changed it back to like a different setting and everything, and then going straight back to, you know, emotional turmoil at the very end. So going towards the end, the episode definitely played with my emotions, just went all over the place. I was literally, that was a good job honestly at doing that for me at least. And I was like, damn, I honestly can't wait to see the next episode. And that's another big thing, is the thing that was happening to her was her eyes were starting to turn red. And we saw this at the end, at the beginning of the first episode, where she has like red eyes, red hair, and she jumps down. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but it looks like, I'm not, like, maybe this is my opinion, my possibility of something happening. It could be completely wrong, but there might be a possibility that that girl, she's turning red and everything. The girl who originally had that sword that Willem talks to and we see in one of his flashbacks had red hairs and red eyes as well. So this sword may be some type of possession of sorts or something along those lines, or maybe she's getting, I'm really not too sure on the specifics, but there's a huge chance that there may be some type of connection between having the sword and that girl who initially had the sword before, and both of them kind of combining personalities or something along those lines. But yeah, definitely, like I said, not the strongest episode. I still enjoyed it. The funny, cute moments a lot. The beginning part was really good as well. And the whole thing with the, her having those weird visions to, of course, the very ending, which I absolutely loved with the confession and the development for Willem's character. And then, of course, this huge name drop that we don't know of that just leaves a little suspense cliffhanger for us to be wondering what's going to happen in the next episode. So yeah, overall, like I said, not the strongest, but still definitely did enjoy this episode and cannot wait to see the next one. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy, leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And as always, guys, I want to know how you guys felt about this episode. Did you think it was completely not needed, most of the middle part like I did? Or did you have a different opinion on everything as well? The confession, did you feel it was out of place? Or did you feel the same as me? I just want to hear your guys' thoughts, so feel free to comment below, good or bad, whatever you thought about it. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, see ya.